barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So we got a big fight tomorrow night, man. The green belt's on the line. Thomas Top Dog Williams against Adonis Superman Stevenson. I got to tell you guys a cool story. Okay, 4th of July weekend. I'm at a barbecue, and I'm with the Watsons and a whole bunch of other fighters and everyone else. And obviously, all we talk about is we're playing dominoes, and all we do is talk about boxing, right? And we like, man, what's the next fight we got coming up? And we talked about the next big fight was Adonis Stevenson and Thomas Williams, and we started talking about Thomas Williams knocking out Edwin Rodriguez on the Berto Ortiz undercard. And I checked my phone, and Thomas Williams added me on Instagram. I swear to God, that second, we're talking about the Thomas Williams fight, and we're talking about how he got dynamite in both hands, and it's going to be a good fight if Adonis Stevenson take him lightly. And he added me on Instagram, and I say, Sam, you want to hear the funniest story ever? Thomas Williams just added me on Instagram, and we're talking about him. So I sent Thomas Williams a message. I said, man, we're talking about you right now. And I says, Sam wants you to call him. So that was my first time meeting him. I met him at the press conference, but he didn't know who I was, but I just interviewed him. And coincidentally, he ended up calling us that moment, and we ended up talking for like 10 minutes, and he talked to Sam for like 10 minutes. You know, Sam hypes him up and gets him ready for the fight. And but that goes to show you, man, energy. It's the craziest thing. The universe is amazing. I don't know how that happened. I've never had a conversation with Thomas Williams outside of interviewing him, and I don't know how he found me. Well, may have found me on Instagram just through boxing, but that's just the craziest story ever. And I got a chance to talk to him for like 5 or 10 minutes, and that's my experience with Thomas Williams. I thought that was just a cool story, that I'm talking about him at a barbecue, and as I'm talking about him, he adds me on Instagram, and 10 seconds later, he's on the phone. Well, 35 seconds later, he's on the phone with me and Sam at the barbecue. Crazy story. So anyways, getting to this fight. Thomas Top Dog Williams, as you guys have seen him, I know he's lingering in your heads because he knocked out Edwin Rodriguez, whose only loss, I believe, was against Andre Ward, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago. And this is going to be a good fight. And the reason why I say this is going to be a good fight is because they both have power. Now, here's the key to Thomas Williams. I'm going to pick my fighter in a second, but here's the key. Thomas Williams has to give when Adonis Stevenson throws that left hand. And Adonis Stevenson has arguably, mind you, I'm just going off the top of my head now, guys, has the quickest and the most lethal left hands in upper divisions. I would say upper divisions is 160 on up. His left hand is Superman fast, and the catch-22 is that's basically the only punch you really have to look for with Adonis Stevenson. He paused with his right hand, and he explodes with the left hand, and he does a great job at telegraphing it, but it's so goddamn fast, you know. And he has great feet. It allows him to get in position and lands that left hand. Now, what I like about Thomas Williams is he's a converted southpaw. So what that means is he has power in both hands, and so that means his left hand is as lethal as his right hand. But with all that, when you're converted, sometimes when you convert it, you tend to square up because you have power in both hands, and you tend to convert back to being a right-hander, but you know you're a left-hander, but your right foot is in front, so you kind of bring that back a little bit and you kind of square it up. Now here's where I think Thomas Williams can take advantage. Obviously, Thomas Williams is going to move to his left, but he has to give when Adonis Stevenson throws that left hand. What he didn't do against Edwin Rodriguez is give. He countered Edwin Rodriguez, and that's how he got the knockdown, or what potentially led to the knockdown, knockout. If he gives and not try to trade, now you can give and counter. You can do the Floyd Mayweather pull and counter move. You know, you can feint, you can pivot. All these type of moves you can do. But what he cannot do is sit in the pocket when Superman Williams throws that lethal left hand. Now, I'm not a true fan of Adonis Stevenson, but what he does, he gets it done. However, I think Adonis Stevenson has a little bit more experience than Thomas Williams, because when he fell from heaven and landed in hell, he countered with Edwin Rodriguez. He didn't try and climb his way back to heaven. He stood in hell and countered, and thank God he had enough power to knock him out. So I don't think this fight is going 12. I think whoever lands the power punch first will win this fight. I am rooting for Thomas Williams just because I like him. He's American. I think Adonis Stevenson wins by TKO. This is a tough fight for me to go, but I think Thomas Williams, his experience, he's gonna sit in the box and counter. That's a recipe for disaster. If he gives with Adonis Stevenson left hand, he's gonna win this fight easy, because Adonis Stevenson chases you with that left hand. Watch all his fights, guys. His right hand is minimum, but you have to respect it because he's 175 pounds and he's a professional boxer. But he literally runs and tries to land that left hand. So I got Adonis Stevenson winning by TKO. But I won't be rooting for him. I'll be rooting for Thomas Top Dog Williams. So that's my prediction for tomorrow. Pretty cool story. And I'll be rooting for him. He won me over when he knocked out Edwin Rodriguez. I became a fan of his. And lo and behold, we had a 5 or 10 minute conversation. I was thinking of him. So naturally, I'll be rooting for him. But let me know what you guys think. Barbershop Conversations. And don't forget Spike TV. Matter of fact, I'm going to make my thumbnail the time of this fight, so you guys don't forget. And I appreciate you guys' support. And don't forget the subscribe button. Tell your friends to hit the subscribe button. And Adonis Stevenson by TKO. Only because I don't think the fight is going 12 rounds. So if Thomas Williams wins, he's going to win by TKO. But I'll be rooting my ass off for Thomas Williams. So Barbershop Conversation. Talk to you guys. Peace.